Hello, and welcome to example 3 of yet another episode of Fun Times and Examples using minitab. So example 3 is a very contrived example. So I'm not telling you where the data is from or what it represents. It's just here's a sample, and I've already typed them into minitab. And we start by saying, suppose the two independent random samples were selected from two populations that are normally distributed. So hey, look, this meets all the criteria you need. And then the table for the data is shown below. And then you're asked a bunch of questions like, what's the estimate of difference? Hey, what's the pooled variance? What's the degrees of freedom? And hey, construct a 90%er. So we're told in here that we're going to be using the pooled estimate for the variance. That means we're going to be using the pooling options for the first time ever in this example. So I'm going to actually just go ahead and hop right over to minitab to get all these results and then use them to answer these questions for these samples. All right, let's get into it. So to do a pooled value, we're going to go up to stat, basic statistics, to sample t, and you're already thinking this looks no different from the other one. I agree. I got to put in my samples. Sample number 1 and sample number 2, cleverly named on my part. And then I'm going to hit the options key and I'm going to change a couple things. First of all, I'm not given any hypotheses here, so I'm going to use not equal to, and I need a 90%er this time, not a 95. And then last but not leastly, I'm told we're pooling, and here's how you pool with minitab. Assume equal variance. You check that button. That's it. Literally it. How do I pool? Check the button. Done. That's it. Okay. All right. So you just hit OK, and we hit OK again, and it's going to produce some output for you. One thing I want to draw to your attention is immediately at the bottom it says, hey, both used pool standard deviation 14.9487. So it lets you know at the bottom, hey, it was pooled. So that's good. So I'm actually going to put this, oh boy, where am I going to put this? Maybe like right here? That looks good because then I can look back at it. Maybe. No, I'll just look at it over here. All right. So first things up, hey, what's the estimated difference between the means? Well, where's my estimated difference for the means? Oh, negative 17.11. That's it. So I'm going to do that in Purple. Negative 17.11. Alrighty, and then you're asked, hey, what is, the pooled populations for variance for both groups? And they give you the standard deviation, so we're going to have to square this to get the variance. So we're going to get 14.9487, and we're just going to take that and we're going to square it since they're asking me for the variance and not the standard deviation. The other typical version of this question is, what was the standard deviation? I need the Windows calculator, so Tools, Microsoft Calculator. Mine looks a little different because I'm running Windows 10. 14.9487, and then I'm just going to square it. So 223.46363. If you believe in significant digits, I just pissed you off. Sorry. Can't help myself. I like to leave more spaces than I need to. Anyway. Next up, hey, what's the degrees of freedom? It's 10. Why is it 10? Because if you remember how this is calculated, in fact, this one, although it's given to you in minitab, I'm going to calculate. Oh, come on. It's doing that thing where it doesn't want to let me make things bigger. No, whatever. Whoa. What's the DF, yo? Degrees of freedom is, hey, I take the size of sample 1, which was 5, and subtract 1, and then add to that, hey, what's the size of sample 2? It's 7, and subtract 1. And so you get 4 plus 6, which is 10, or you just look at minitab and it's right there. Not sure why it's doing that, where it cuts it all off. Oh, Word, you are a mystery to me. Whatever, I'm done with it. Go away, Word. All right. Next, 95% confidence interval for the difference of the means. There's that sucker right there, which I got earlier. Make that just a little bit bigger. And purple, so I know it's an answer for something. And bold for funds and easiness to read on a video. All right, so that's some stuff you can read off of minitab output for doing a pooled value. Ideally, if this was a good question about details with context and data, I would be describing now what this difference means. And it's significant because it's all negative, which tells you that actually the second sample is larger than the first, and zero's not in here, so it's definitely not zero. This was one that you would be probably failing to reject, and p-value, also indicates that as well. So there's example number 3, short, quick, dirty. Look forward to sample number 4 when we talk to you about drinking tea and how your teeth look.